The man was a sorcerer. Anyone who locked eyes with him would be cursed in an instant, their body frozen as if paralyzed. He would then calmly walk toward his helpless opponent, draw his sword, and pierce through their body. The crowd gasped in shock, and when his enemy fell, they erupted into cheers. Randurogu never expected things to turn out this way. He had agreed to represent his academy in this tournament, even though he might die here, but he wasn't afraid. After all, in his previous life, he had been the strongest on Myoji. Just a few days earlier, the country's long-awaited martial arts tournament had begun again. This time, the rules allowed the use of magic, which meant that more than half of the competitors were exceptionally powerful. Victory was often won by disabling the opponent or forcing them out of the arena. Randurogu was the first to compete, facing a soldier from a prestigious guild. The soldier looked down on him completely, but Randurogu knew this man could never beat him. Confident, the soldier lunged at Randurogu with his blade, but Randurogu's body turned into a talisman paper before everyone's eyes. The audience went silent, stunned at the sight. Then the referee declared Randurogu the winner. No one knew what kind of sorcery he had used to defeat his foe. All they could see was that Randurogu had won in an instant. Randurogu returned to the stands to watch the next match. Ifa was there with the others, watching as well. In the second match, the fight ended before it even began. One fighter suddenly froze in place after meeting his opponent's gaze. Curious, Randurogu used his appraisal skill on Kairu. As Kairu walked calmly toward his victim, Randurogu noticed the terror on the man's face. The next moment, Kairu drove his sword straight through his opponent's chest, killing him instantly. The crowd erupted in excitement, thrilled by the brutality of the match. Randurogu couldn't believe it. In this world, death itself was treated as entertainment, but Kairu seemed utterly unfazed, his expression blank as though this was perfectly normal. Randurogu realized then that there were sorcerers here too, men who could curse their enemies with nothing more than a glance. It was a kind of power Randurogu had never encountered before. In his past life, Randurogu had mastered Onmyoji arts to their absolute peak. Even after being reborn in this new world, he still retained that strength. No one knew his secret, which meant he could use it freely here. During the Grand Academy tournament, the largest competition in the nation, Randurogu faced a fighter who controlled magic immune stone guardians. But Randurogu wasn't worried. He wasn't relying on magic anyway. Before his opponent could even react, Randurogu moved with speed invisible to the naked eye, summoning a god-slaying strike that shattered the guardian. Then he walked up to his opponent with a gentle smile, telling them to surrender or die. The opponent gave up immediately. After another victory, Randurogu returned to the stands. Ifa looked worried, still shaken by the matches where fighters had been killed. She feared Randurogu might also die in the ring, but Randurogu only laughed softly and told her he was far stronger than she realized. Seeing his confidence, Ifa finally relaxed. Then the referee announced the next match. It was Ifa versus a top Earth Element mage. From the start, Ifa's swordsmanship let her easily deflect the mage's attacks. Realizing her skill, the mage began chanting an advanced spell, but before he could finish, Ifa closed in with a set of throwing knives. Forced to stop chanting, the mage raised a wall of stone in defense. To everyone's shock, Ifa flicked her blades against the wall, and it shattered as though it had been struck by massive force. The crowd was stunned, but Randurogu saw the truth. Ifa had imbued her knives with gravity magic, making them weigh many times more than normal. The moment they touched the wall, the overwhelming force caused it to collapse instantly. What surprised Randurogu wasn't just the magic, but the fact that Ifa could hurl such heavy weapons with ease. Clearly, she was far more dangerous than she appeared. While Randurogu was still analyzing, Ifa had already delivered her finishing move. She closed in, cut the mage's staff in half, and placed her sword at his throat. The match ended in her victory.